I'm Aleks.
And I'm Rob.
I'm from Novi Sad, Serbia.
And I'm from New York. Aleks and I started dating after meeting on a German cruise ship where we were entertainers.
And now we are in a long-distance relationship.
Until we can be together again, we decided to start a podcast.
We may come from different backgrounds, but that's exactly what keeps the conversation going for hours.
We can't wait for you to listen to this episode.
So sit back and enjoy it.
Because we have a lot to talk about.
Hey everybody, today's guest is from Stockholm, Sweden.
Though most of her professional career has been working overseas as an actor, singer, and dancer on cruise ships, national tours such as Pippin and Finding Neverland, and in numerous renowned theater houses around the country. Most recently, she's been performing at the top theaters of Stockholm.
Today, we are joined by Emilia Brown to talk about living and working between the US and Sweden, soon to be Finland as well, and what it was like growing up with a Swedish mom and American dad. Welcome to the show, Emilia.
Thank you.
We gave you a lengthy introduction because you're so successful and you have done so many things.
Nice to hear. I'm like, whoa, okay, yeah. Yeah. I'm a little nervous. I've never done a podcast before. I've never been in one. I'm afraid that I'm going to say something inappropriate or something stupid, but then I don't know if we can cut it out. I don't know, yeah. Sometimes I just talk before I think, so.
I would think for, like, the national tours and stuff that they would make you do, like, little spots in random places.
I don't know. I usually got away with... Since English is my second language, kind of, or I got better at it, but I don't know. I try to stay away from, like, promos and stuff like that.
Mm. They never force you, quote, to do an interview somewhere? No?
Maybe I did. I can't...
But not on a podcast.
Know. It feels like a long time ago. Yeah. No, I've been ensemble and swing a lot. The swings don't really get a lot of attention, but
which they should, because do you know about swings? The term swing?
No.
So also part of this today, we have a lot of questions about like New York auditioning and stuff, but I might as well mention, so a lot of the work that Emilia does is as dance captain and as a swing. So swings are kind of, you've heard of an understudy?
Yeah.
So they're kind of like an understudy, but they're understudying multiple roles, because in case an understudy actually has to go on, someone has to take their role in the ensemble, or, you know, things get switched around basically within the company to help with that modification. So Emilia's job is basically to, well, I guess you can explain it since you're the one who lives it.
Yeah, it's different, but you have to cover like maybe 5 or 7 ensemble tracks, like the females. And on Broadway, they usually have like 3 or 4 swings, but on tour, I don't know. I've been the only female swing on both the... Pippin was weird. I started off as a swing and was covering the grandma, the 66-year-old grandma. She cracked her rib like the day before the previews, and they were like, yeah, Emilia, you're on. And I'm like, what? I'm playing the 66-year-old grandma? I'm like, what's going on? So I got like 20 minutes with the team, and they were like trying to help me find my grandma voice, my grandma posture, you know. And then in Pippin, she does like this trapeze thing with a strong man. She like hangs in his arms and stuff, which was easy for me since I have a gymnastics background. But it was this song that's like 10 minutes long and like 5 verses, and and some words that I've never heard even. I had to like Google, well, what does this word even mean, you know, or like translate it into Swedish. But I don't know. I thought I was gonna, the previews, I went on. I thought I was gonna throw up before. And then I sang, and then when the trapeze thing came, I was like, oh, finally, now I like relax. That's how I relax. I was like, okay, just hold me, you know. I was not nervous about that. I was just nervous about remembering the words. And then after that, they were like, okay, we're gonna look for a new grandma. But then after a while, they were like, no, we're looking for a new swing, and you will stay in the role as grandma. So it's so weird that I've literally played a 66-year-old on a national tour. Yeah, I'm almost like embarrassed when it says it on my resume. I like kind of want to explain like what happened because it's so weird with the casting, you know. But
just because you're talking about this, recently on my Facebook, the anniversary of when I saw you in the show came up, and I quoted because Steven Schwartz, the composer, said, "I had no idea you weren't like a 66-year-old woman," or something like that. Like, you definitely passed as a grandma.
Compliment that I could ever get, ever. Yeah, that was cool. And I'll never have a Star Trek like that. I never have a Star Trek where it was a big role, you know, and I had my 10 minutes of shine, you know, and then I was just backstage, like, having dinner during the show, you know, and that went from, like, being the swing and rehearsals and, like, crying every day I came home from rehearsals, just being overwhelmed. So, yeah, that was a good contract. I like my cast, too. But, yeah, no, once you've been a swing, like a couple contracts, then a lot of people get stuck there because when they cast for a show, they're like, oh, we need a swing. Oh, this person has a lot of experience. She'll be the swing. And I don't know, it takes a lot of it's a lot of work. And usually I'm not feeling my best when I do it on those contracts. I've gotten gastric catarrh a lot because I get so stressed.
Gastric
it's
catarrh?
very overwhelming. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's from stress and you just like throw up because you get stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I have to be like, oh, okay, calm down, everything will be fine. But I don't know, it's just a lot to remember. Like, this person takes this prop on and then quick changes into this and or doing like the dance, but like mirroring it. You know, like doing everything opposite because and you're crossing downstage of that person, then an upstage of that person, and partnering with this person. So it's a lot, but it was great experience, and it's a humbling experience because in rehearsals you get your little corner and like try to learn everything and write everything down, and you never get done with the studying. Like, even on tour when the show was running and I was in it, when we were on the bus, I was studying. So that I would be prepared if someone calls out.
Yeah. And you often don't, you know, she's saying that she's in her little corner because they're actually not allowed, unless someone's missing from the rehearsal, you're not allowed to really jump in unless, you know, you have a really nice director who's maybe going to be like...
They just expect you to be prepared.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're reserve, right?
You basically just sit in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was your first swing situation... When I met you?
Hershey Park. Yes, Hershey Park.
Yes.
And that was it was a good school for me because that was weird because then we were singing, it was 3 parts, 3 females.
Yes. And
everyone was singing a different part. So it was a lot
of singing stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of work. That was more singing than dancing.
Where was that?
For me.
Hershey Park is a candy-themed park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's like
you know the chocolate Hershey?
Hershey's, yeah.
The chocolate bar, yeah.
They have a theme park. Yes.
Yeah. Rob saved me that contract.
Why? Can you explain?
Like the reason that I stayed. It was a hard We had
each other.
We had 5 shows a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah. Whoa.
It was like outdoors.
Imagine the shows that we're doing on the cruise, like those type of shows. Yeah. But doing them 5 times, so the entire day we're doing just those shows.
Yeah, because people are coming and going, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And they were like sitting there eating their burgers with their back against, back facing us, you know. So
I mean, people with like their giant turkey legs. It's like a fair. It's like just the worst of humanity.
How long is the show? Like 45 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that?
I think it was like 35. 35 minutes.
But still.
But my vocal cords were just, I got like trouble with my voice because it was too much for me singing these 3 parts, like switching every day back and forth between like soprano and alto, and like it was country. Maybe because I'm Swedish, I'm not used to singing this country music, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
she had a good little accent.
Yeah. She's more for na 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 na.
Oh yeah,
like
the ABBA.
Yeah, the ABBA. That's more in my register.
Yeah.
So
No, but Rob, it was tough. We were only like 8 people in the cast, but it was sometimes a contract is easy because everyone is like just so like team. It's a lot of teamwork and it's good people that you bond with. But we had a lot of strong personalities and like negativity in the cast, and that you can't, if you have 5 shows a day, 6 days a week, you can't have negativity. It's just like it will break you down, and that's why I almost like quit that contract. I was like, this is
it was
but
hard.
Rob was my roommate and my friend, so that's why I stayed.
We did what we could. We would walk or take an Uber to the grocery store. That would be our big outing. Or go to this horrible bar.
We played tennis a couple times.
Yes, we did. Thomas Jolter, who was on a few episodes ago, we quickly mentioned that we actually, all 3 of us have worked together. So any listeners who's paying attention. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure Aleks has a lot of questions for you. I know you very well. But as you've kind of seen already, Aleks is kind of green to like understanding theater. The theater world. Obviously he comes from music. So I'd love for you to just, maybe I'll start out with just asking you like the process of finding a job in New York versus Sweden.
Well, since my dad is American, I can work in the US, which is such a luxury, and I'm so blessed. A lot of my Swedish friends are jealous because they would love to have that opportunity. So after I graduated like a theater school here in Sweden, it was hard to get. We don't have a lot of theaters here in Sweden. We have a couple, but not as many as the US. In like every state, they have so many theaters. So I auditioned, but it didn't go very well. So I was like, okay, I'm going to the US. Did Broadway Dance Center, dance school there, and started to audition. And that was great experience. That was a new world, like singing 16 bars. Like, we don't have that system in Sweden because there's so many people auditioning for stuff, and there are open calls. In Sweden, we have a lot of closed calls. Like, you get invited or you ask, like, you send your resume and they pick people that they think that you're interested
or
in.
a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, that too. So, but in the US, it's great that you get, even if it's just like 8 bars or even typecasting that I've done, that you just walk in, stand on a line, and then they like pick the people that they want to see sing the 8 bars. And yeah, so it's just so many different auditions, so many different shows. So that's just, I mean, if you don't have a job, it's like a free dance class. If you don't get a call back, it's like, okay, I got a free dance class, or I got experience. And people are so used to like doing so many auditions. You can do 2 auditions a day in New York City. In Sweden, we have like 2 we have like 1 every other month, maybe, if even that, for the big theaters. Yeah. So people get really upset if they get cut.
Also, it's a smaller country.
In the US, like, no, I got cut, but see you tomorrow. You know? Yeah. So a lot more opportunities in the US, but also a lot of competition. There are a lot of people that audition. So I don't know, they have a system. They have, headshot resume taped together, and you come in and you sing your 8 or 16 bars and they make cuts. In Sweden, it's more, they send you an email like, hey, can you come to this audition? Can you learn these 3 songs? Can you, bring this? And then you come there, and then maybe you get to sing those 3 songs that you like studied, or maybe not. And then you're like, what? That's a little disrespectful of my time as a performer that you made me like practice these songs. So I don't like that very much, but I don't know. It's a little calmer in Swedish auditions, I feel like, in one way. We're not as many people in the room. It's like 60
I can believe
people
that.
In, these small.
I was in Sweden a few times, and it was always calm. Even the Stockholm is calm, and every small place is also calm. So I guess auditions are also calm.
I don't know. I haven't done that many auditions in Sweden, but it's hard since I've been away for 7 years in the US. It's hard to get back in here because I don't have a lot of contacts. And actually, the shows that I've auditioned for, I've been cast by British teams, like teams from England, because sometimes we bring teams from there because, I don't know, they do good in their work and are experienced. I mean, we have some good choreographers and directors here in Sweden too, but it's hard for me to like.
Well, maybe they recognize your resume better.
I've gotten a lot of callbacks from the Swedes. Yeah,
The English,
yeah, maybe
too.
they recognize the shows and I don't know. Maybe I feel like in the audition room, I'm a little American in one way. I like coming there with my Lululemon skirt. In Sweden, we don't wear like Lululemon skirts to dance with. So actually, when I did my first audition, she was like, "Hey, skirt, can you do one more time?" Like called me skirt.
Yeah,
So-
that's a very that apparel is very much so a staple of the American musical theater. Is
So when you moved to Sweden to US, you moved to New York, right?
Yes, New York City. So that was like, roommates, and I was like always wearing my big backpack with all the dance shoes and my audition book, and like always eating food when I was walking. Like super stressful, like all the time, running from one audition to another, taking dance classes. And yeah, I also had like an extra job teaching gymnastics and babysitting. So yeah, I don't know. Now when I think back, I'm like, where did I get all that energy? Just being young and be like, I'm gonna be on Broadway. But yeah, I don't know if I could do it again. Like once, like I loved the time there, and but now when I was there, when was I there? Like 2 years ago. I was like, ooh, it's so stressful and it's so like dirty here. Like everything is, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
In Sweden, it's a little more clean, But no, New York has really good, like it has Broadway. I mean, we don't have that, so yeah.
well, now you guys have more of a Broadway than we do.
Yes and no, I would say. Because we don't have anything running right at the moment.
At the moment, yes, but
At the moment, and they have plans of trying to put, but it gets postponed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This I'm doing my next contract will hopefully be. I mean, it will be Mary Poppins in Finland at the Swedish theater. It's pretty cool. They have like a Swedish theater there, so we will speak and sing in Swedish, but with like a Finnish accent to it. So I kind of have to practice that because I'm not used to that accent.
When is that happening? Is that soon?
I mean, that's the thing. It was supposed to have premiere in September, and now they said the other day it will be in December. I don't know. It's tricky. It's hard. We're over this. Trying to be patient and having hope, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
And things being postponed and blah blah.
The uncertainty.
Before we get back to the episode, we have something important to share with you.
As you all know by now, this podcast was started as a way for Aleks and I to connect while we are apart.
Little did we know how much the podcast would grow into something new.
In order to increase the quality of our content, it takes a great deal of time, attention, and hard work.
That's where you come in.
If you want to support us, we have set up a way for you to do just that.
Go to anchor.fm/ we have a lot to talk about and click on support.
You will then have the option to contribute however much you would like to in order to support us and this podcast.
We already have a few supporters and are so thankful for your contribution.
Now, let's get back to the episode.
Rob also told me that obviously you do dancing, we were talking about that, but you also do yoga and a bunch of other stuff. So how do you like balance all of that, especially back when you were in New York? Like you said yourself, you had a lot of things on the side to do.
That's when I started, in New York City. I think that's when I started taking more yoga classes because I feel like my pulse was just like really high all the time because I was like running around like a maniac. So I took yoga classes to just like breathe and relax and stretch, and then I did my yoga teacher training I have family in Washington, D.C., so I did a yoga teacher training there. And now I'm a registered yoga teacher and I teach, and I feel like that's a really good, I mean, it makes me stretch, which I sometimes don't do a lot, and breathe, which I forget to do a lot as well. And it's just fun to teach yoga. I don't know. No, it's great. And I've also been a gymnast, and I get a lot of work from being an acrobatic dancer.
Mm-hmm.
So yoga is just like almost rehab for my body. So that I'm 30 now. It's like my last contract in cabaret, they made me like swing, like do like aerial stuff. And I'm not a circus performer, but they brought in a professional to teach me stuff and like climb the ropes and do splits and this aerial thing. So that was cool. But that's sad because we had a show. We had a show cabaret and we never got to open it.
Oh.
And we don't know if it will ever open. So, yeah.
So the theater happened to you, like, so you finished that school and then you got theater jobs, I guess. And then the ship happened, or in between you did
No, I did. I started working at a dinner theater. That was my first job. Did the show Cats, 9 shows a week.
Whoa.
That's crazy. The thing, in Sweden, we have about 4 shows a week, and we still get as much paid. But it's we don't have like tourists that can come. Like, it would be weird if tourists come and watch a show, like a musical in Swedish. That would be a little... Yeah, they wouldn't understand what we're saying. So we don't have, like in Broadway, they have so many tourists that will go see a Broadway show, but here we don't have that. Yeah, we don't have that.
In Sweden, it's more of a niche.
Yeah, we can't sell more than like 4 shows a week. So, but we still get an okay salary for that. So, yeah. But then it's weird when my Swedish friends are like, oh, we have 5 shows this week. This is a lot. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's still...
How about 36 shows a week?
Yeah, for Hershey Park.
Yes.
36, yeah. Wait, is that 5? I can't do math. 5
6
times.
Oh no, I did 6 times 6.
I can only count to 8.
30 hours,
I'm a
30
dancer,
shows a week. I can only count to 8. That's funny.
So, and then like, how many contracts you did on the ship?
I did 2 contracts, and I did one as a dancer and then one as a singer. We didn't have these like singer, dancer, dancer, singer. So one where it was like a dancer, and that was hard for me too, because I don't know, I'm not used to... I feel like my gymnastics background just like tricks them into thinking that I'm a great dancer, but I feel like, I don't know, it was a lot. Rehearsals, learning one show in 2 weeks was just a lot. So I cried when I got home. I've been crying a lot during my contracts. When I got home, I was so overwhelmed. Like, my brain just can't pick up more choreography at the moment. Like ballroom shows, like a freaking ballroom dancer. I'm like, But that was also a great experience. And then I got to be a singer. It was also a great experience. And now, but I feel, that was good. But I feel like I'm a triple threat. I don't feel like I'm a great singer. I'm not a great dancer. I'm not a great actor, but I'm like pretty strong in those 3. So I feel like I'm a strong triple threat. But if you're a strong triple threat, that makes you... I've been cast as a swing, and I feel because I should be ready to just do whatever anyone does in the show. So it's a lot of hard work with that. But again, great experience, and I've been dance captaining more now, and I like that too. But that's also stressful. So this is new for me to be cast as ensemble and understudy the lead, because now I feel like, oh, maybe I can sing. Then I get to sing a little more. Maybe can be cast.
This is in Finland.
Yes. So I think it will be good on my resume to see. Otherwise, they always be like, oh, dance captain swing, great. But now I'm like, oh, she understudied Mary Poppins, and that's more singing. So.
Or maybe even just more understudy to move you in at least the understudy realm, so you can at least a few times a week kind of balance between, so you're not the grandma all the time. Right? You don't have the easy life, but you can have like somewhere in between where you're doing some exciting things and some, just being the lead sometimes. Yes. Because ensemble, I think a lot of people underestimate ensemble members. I love living in the
yes.
ensemble because it's very busy. It's a lot of hard work, and you don't. If anything
Yes.
goes wrong, no one's looking at you. They're always gonna look at the lead. So it's like it's thankless, but it's also no responsibility.
Yeah, and I also feel now that it would be nice to just, like, I wouldn't mind if they only cast me as ensemble and nothing else. Like, because it's nice to take a break from this,
Yes.
just always being prepared. And people come up to me like, oh, I don't know, I feel a little in my voice. I don't know if I can do the show. And I'd be like, okay, but are you on or not? Because I need to know, and I want to start studying, if you're not. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard. So it's a little break from that now.
What is the difference between, in your opinion, living in Sweden and living in USA?
Ooh.
It's not easy question, but you can.
Also, since you have a little bit of America in your
Yes.
daily life in Sweden.
Yes, I do, but I don't know. Right now, I'm just happy being in Sweden. A lot of things have been going on in the US lately, so I'm like, okay, it's nice to
It's better here.
it's nice to be here. But I do miss my friends. I miss working there. I mean, even though it's a lot, it's just like the Americans have this musical theater history and just so good at what they're doing. There's so many talented people just inspiring me, and they put up so many good shows. And yeah, I miss working there, and I miss my friends. And also just Americans are a little more sometimes open than Swedes. It's easy to make friends in the US, but it's harder to make friends in Sweden because people are like in their own bubble, and I don't know. I like that too sometimes, but I don't know. I do miss America sometimes, and yeah. But working wise, I don't know. It's easier to work in Sweden since we have 4 shows a week, and yeah, yeah.
And easier.
I don't know. That was a hard question. Yeah.
So you have an American dad and you have a Swedish mom. So
Yes.
what is that dynamic, especially growing up in Sweden and then moving to America? How did that dynamic kind of influence who you are?
Well, I grew up we speak 2 languages at the dinner table. It will, like, whenever anyone talks to my dad, they will speak English. And when we talk to each other, we will speak Swedish. So we just switch back and forth all the time.
That's great.
And I don't know. I feel like my dad has adjusted. Like, I feel like he's not very American anymore. He's turned into a little Swede, So I don't know, growing up, if I was like, I wasn't raised, very like in an American way. I don't know, but I'm glad that I lived in the U.S. just so that I could like feel, I don't know, like experience what maybe my dad experienced growing up. It's just something nice. And he's been really supportive. He still is really supportive of everything that I do. So I don't know, it was nice. And also now when I come back, like in theater, we have like a different language, like any work probably with like IT or computers or whatever. But we have a lot of words in Sweden that are like English in our theater words. But when I came back, I was like, that was Swinglish big time. Like my notes to the cast was like, because Swedes are really good in English.
Yeah.
Like everyone speaks it fluently.
True.
So my notes were really like every other word, English and Swedish. It was messy. But I've gotten better to just like it. But it's like someone asked me like, what do you mean by cut? I'm like, oh, cut. Like you're not in it. It's cut. It's cut. Like you're not gonna do that, or you're not gonna bring that prop on. Like that thing is cut. So it's important that I communicate well. So I don't know, but yeah.
It's the truth about your dance captaining that everyone's gonna find out.
So when you were growing up, you lived in Sweden. Your dad was in Sweden, right?
Yes, yes. We visited my grandparents like every summer. That's about it. So yeah. But I felt like, my English got better of course, after being there for 7 years. But first I was like, I got tired of like being out grabbing a drink with people, because it took more energy for me to like hear what they were saying, and they were speaking fast, and for me to just translate the Swedish into English. But now when I come back from the US, I feel like I translate English to Swedish. So sometimes my Swedish is like bad. Not that I speak with like an American accent, but I twist the words like weird, you know, and someone's like, you can't, like, that's, especially my brother, that's like a word police. He's like, you can't say it that way, blah,
Word
blah, blah.
police.
So, yeah. Yeah.
If you translate it like literally, then it's not, doesn't have any logic, I assume. That's what happens also in Serbian when people try to translate it. Sometimes doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were able to work a little bit during the pandemic, but I guess we'll close with you kind of chatting about what it was like living in Sweden and working in Sweden during the pandemic as a theater worker. And what do you think the future of theater looks like now? And where you're going to be in that? Are you going to be in Europe or the US?
I think, because I'm 30, maybe it's my 30-year-old crisis. I don't know. I feel like I've been living in a suitcase for 7 years. So I just felt like it was so nice to like just have an apartment, have all my clothes that I want. And even though I have to be prepared to travel a little, I have to be prepared to work in Malmo, like south of Sweden, and Gothenburg and Stockholm, and I mean like now, like Finland. But if you have 4 shows a week, then you can actually like take the train or So I can still have my base in Stockholm, which will be nice. Yeah, so I don't think that I will go back to the US working there. I've realized that I mean, first, of course, Broadway will be nice, but I have a lot of friends that are on Broadway, and I just don't know if I want to live that lifestyle. I think I want to, I don't know, settle down a little more. Maybe start like a family life, and I don't know. But, I mean, that can change, you know. I don't know. We'll see. But, I worked in the pandemic. We closed pretty quick. We didn't even get to do a show. First they said something about, only 500 people in the audience and only 50 people. But we closed quick. And then, and I haven't really been and then we were then I got cast in Cabaret after, and like during the pandemic. And we started rehearsing this show. The first week, we were not allowed to touch each other in rehearsal. So we did partnering. I did partner work, and they're like, and then we like kind of like mimes, you know, standing there with our hands just like not being able to touch each other. And we didn't wear masks, actually. That's weird. Yeah, but we weren't allowed to touch, and we sanitized our hands and all that. And then we just hoped to open the show, but in Sweden, they wouldn't. We had some theaters open for 50 people, but where we were in Gothenburg, they wouldn't let. It's different in different cities in Sweden. So they wouldn't let us open for 50 people. So we kept rehearsing the show like once a week, like running the full show. And then, we're just hoping, and they're like, okay, now you can open. And then they're like, no, you can't. And now you can open, no, you can't. And then they were like, okay, it's not happening. So, And now I don't know how they're going to do it. I think but people are getting vaccinated now. So I don't know if they're going to do it like that you have to show proof that you're vaccinated and then you can come see the show or, I mean, there must be ways, I'm thinking, like, I don't know. In Sweden, we can still go to gyms. Like schools are open. We haven't had lockdowns in schools or gyms. We've been like living our lives pretty much normal, except for a lot of people are working from home, and restaurants close earlier. But otherwise, we've been pretty
open.
But except for theater, they're like no theater.
And concerts, I guess.
Always the first thing to go, unfortunately.
So we're just hoping, and people are scared here that it's gonna die, you know, our business, and it will stuff will start opening up again. The pandemic has made me work out a lot. I work out like 2 times a day.
Whoa.
because I don't have, I'm a restless person. I don't like, I don't know. I can't just be laying on I can lay on the couch, but I like, okay, I'll go take a class like when at lunchtime, and then I'll go back, take one in the evening. So I'm probably in my best shape of my life right now. So I can thank COVID for that, but I will still prefer not to. I don't know.
Yeah, Alex, you can only see Emilia's head right now, but she's a beast.
Hey, I'll show you my bicep now. I'm getting too much beastie at the moment, I think. But I don't know. It's just, once I have stuff to do, then I won't work out as much. It's just, yeah.
Well, hopefully things start opening up and we get to see you as a Mary Poppins, maybe. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We talked about so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I miss you, Rob. And it was nice talking to you too, Alex. Yeah.
Thank you for being on our show. Yeah. Thanks for saying yes.
Yes, of course.
Come visit me in Sweden.
We will.
I love Sweden.
He loves
You
Sweden.
do, yeah.
We would love to visit.
Hopefully.
Yes.
I'm the worst tour guide. I don't know anything about anything, but I will still show you stuff. I've had American friends here. I'm like, that's a famous building. Take a picture. And they're like, okay, but why? I was like, no idea. Just take a picture and Google it later. I don't know. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thanks for listening. As a reminder, we have new episode coming out every Monday. If you like what we have to talk about, make sure you subscribe, like, rate, and review us, as well as give us a follow on Instagram @We Have a Lot to Talk About podcast. We really appreciate it. Until next time, ta-da!